Arrays of objects. An array can contain objects, and each of those objects could have several variables and the methods that use them. When we store objects in an array, each element is a separate object. That is, an array of objects is really an array of object references. The elements of an array can be object references. The following declaration reserves space to store 25 references to string objects. It does not create the strings objects themselves. Let's look at an example. The grade range program creates an array of string objects called grades, which stores the possible grades and their numeric lowest value and then prints them. For example, the lowest grade you can have to get an A is 95. Sometimes two arrays with corresponding elements, like this, are called parallel arrays. Parallel arrays can be tricky because they can get out of sync with each other. Objects can have arrays as instance variables. Many useful structures can be created with arrays and objects. The software designer must determine carefully an organization of data and the objects that make sense for the situations. Let's look at another example. Toons Java. It is important to remember that creating an array and creating the objects that are stored in the array are two separate steps. In the Toons program, we see these two steps. The Toons class contains a main method that creates, changes, and looks at a CD collection. Each CD added to the collection has a title, an artist, a purchase price, and the number of tracks. The CD collection class contains an array of CD objects representing the collection. It counts the CDs in the collection and their combined value. It also keeps track of the size of the collection array so that a larger array can be created if too many CDs are added to the collection. The collection array is instantiated in the CD collection constructor. Each time a CD is added to the collection using the add CD method, a new CD object is created and a reference to it is stored in the collection array. Each time a CD is added to the collection, we check to see whether we have filled up the collection array. If we didn't check this, we would get an exception when we tried to store a new CD object in an invalid index. If the array is full, the private increase size method is invoked, which first creates an array that is twice as big as the current collection array. Each CD in the collection is then copied to the new array. Finally, the collection reference is set to the larger array. This means we never run out of room in our CD collection. The user of the CD collection object, the main method, never has to worry about running out of space because it is all handled internally. The toString method of the CD collection class returns a report summarizing the collection. The report is created, in part, using the toString method of each CD object stored in the collection. The CD class contains the CD constructor as well as the toString method. Here is the output in the BlueJ terminal window.